We've all heard the stories of lopsided battles, a few hundred holding off thousands, but those are tales of defense, of holding a narrow pass. This is different. This is a story about 10,000 men on an open field, facing a raging army of 80,000, not just facing them, annihilating them. This is about a Roman legion that didn't just win. It erased an army from existence. In Roman Britain, 61 AD, an entire province is on fire, burned to the ground by a single, vengeful queen. The Roman governor has one legion and a few auxiliaries to stop her. He's outnumbered 8-1. How does he turn certain death into one of the most ruthless countermassacres in military history? If you value documented history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using primary sources like the Annals of Tacitus and the Roman history of Cassius Dio. Now back to the story. The fuse is lit in the east of Britain, in the client kingdom of the Iceni. Their king, Suetonius, dies. He thinks he's clever. He leaves half his kingdom to the Roman Emperor Nero and half to his own daughters, trying to protect his family. Rome doesn't do half. The Roman procurator, Tacitus Decianus, decides to collect the whole thing. Roman officials march in, they seize the king's lands, they call in old loans and demand immediate repayment. When the Iceni nobility protests, they are treated like slaves. The king's widow, Queen Boudica, objects. For her trouble, she is publicly flogged. Her 2 daughters are raped. This isn't just business, it's humiliation. It's an act designed to break a people. It does the opposite. It creates a firestorm. Boudica doesn't just mourn, she rages. She is a woman of royal blood, described with terrifying red hair down to her hips, a harsh voice, and a piercing glare. She holds a spear and speaks to her people. Not of negotiation, not of treaties. She speaks of vengeance. The Iceni rise as one. They are not alone. Their neighbors, the Trinovantes, have their own grievances. Their capital, Camulodunum, now modern Colchester, has been turned into a settlement for retired Roman soldiers. These veterans have been seizing local lands, treating the Britons like conquered slaves. The Trinovantes join Boudica's cause. Their combined rage has a target, Camulodunum, the symbol of Roman oppression. It's a new city, barely defended, full of arrogant Roman veterans who believe they are invincible. They are wrong. The rebel army, a tidal wave of fury, descends on the town. The veterans send a desperate plea for help to Tacitus Decianus in Londinium, but he sends only 200 poorly equipped men. It's a gesture, a fatal one. The rebels swarm the city. There are no walls to speak of. The fighting is street to street, house to house. The Romans fall back to their last stronghold, the massive stone temple of the deified Claudius. The very emperor who conquered them. They hold out for 2 days. On the 3rd day, the walls are breached. Everyone inside is slaughtered. The city is systematically torn apart and then burned to the ground. News of the sack travels fast. The 9th Legion, commanded by Quintus Petilius Cerialis, marches to relieve the city. Boudica's warriors ambush them in the open. They surround the Roman infantry and wipe it out. Cerialis escapes with only his cavalry, fleeing back to his camp. The 9th Legion is shattered. The procurator, Tacitus Decianus, the man whose greed started it all, sees what he has unleashed and flees to Gaul. The province is wide open. Across the island, on the Isle of Mona, now Anglesey in Wales, the Roman governor is busy with his own war. His name is Gaius Suetonius Paulinus. He is a hard, experienced general, a man who understands only victory. He has taken his best troops, the 14th Legion and part of the 20th, to eradicate the heart of native resistance, the Druids of Mona. His men are cutting down sacred groves, killing priests and priestesses, and stamping out the old faith. It is brutal, systematic work. And right in the middle of it, a messenger arrives, breathless. The news is catastrophic. Camulodunum is a smoking ruin. The 9th is broken. An army of rebels, growing by the day, is marching unopposed. Boudica is heading for Londinium. Suetonius has to make an impossible choice. Stay and finish his work in Mona, or race across the country to face an army that outnumbers him 10-1. He doesn't hesitate. He takes a small cavalry escort and rides ahead, leaving orders for his legions to follow with all possible speed. It's a desperate race against time. A journey of over 250 miles through hostile territory. He rides hard down the Roman road known as Watling Street. He reaches Londinium before Boudica. The city is a bustling commercial center, rich, but like Camulodunum, unfortified. Citizens plead with him to stay and defend them. Suetonius looks at his small force. He looks at the sprawling, undefendable city. He is a general, not a politician. He makes a cold military calculation. To defend Londinium would be to lose his army and the entire province. He cannot hold it. He He gives the order to abandon the city. Those who can, flee with his soldiers. Those who can't, the old, the infirm, women, children, are left behind. It is a death sentence. Boudica's army arrives and finds the city undefended. The same fury unleashed on Camulodunum is now turned on Londinium. There is no mercy. Everyone left is killed. Tacitus, the Roman historian, writes of crucifixions, hangings, and burnings. The city is looted and then set ablaze. From Londinium, the rebel army turns northwest. Their next target is Verulamium, modern-day St. Albans, another pro-Roman town. It suffers the same fate, sacked, burned, its people massacred. In just a few weeks, 3 of Roman Britain's most important cities are wiped off the map. The death toll is staggering. An estimated 70,000 Roman citizens and their allies are dead. This isn't a rebellion anymore. It's a war of extermination. If you value documented history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using primary sources like the Annals of Tacitus and the Roman history of Cassius Dio. Now back to the story. Suetonius has finally regrouped. His 14th Legion has arrived, along with detachments from the 20th. He also has auxiliary troops from nearby forts. All told, he has about 10,000 fighting men. The 14th is his rock, a veteran legion, hardened by campaigns in Germany and now in Wales. They are disciplined, professional killers, but they are so few. Boudica's army, swollen with victorious warriors and new recruits from across the island, is now estimated at over 80,000 fighters. Some sources claim her total camp, including families, is over 200,000. Suetonius is outnumbered, at best, 8 to 1. A frontal assault would be suicide. His only chance is to choose the ground, to make geography his best soldier. He finds the perfect spot, somewhere along the Roman road of Watling Street. The exact location is lost to history, but Tacitus describes it with military precision. Suetonius places his army in a narrow gorge or defile. Behind him is a dense forest, protecting his rear from any surprise attack. To his left and right, the wooded slopes of the gorge protect his flanks. In front of him, the ground opens up into a wide plain. This is where the enemy must come. He forces Boudica to attack him on a narrow front. Her massive numbers will be useless. She won't be able to surround him. Her vast army will have to squeeze into his kill zone, a funnel of death. It is a brilliant, calculated risk. A trap made of earth and trees. He arranges his men. The legionaries, pomoisars, the heart of his force, form a dense block in the center. On their flanks, he places the lighter-armed auxiliary infantry. On the very edges, tucked against the slopes, is his cavalry. They are a silent, grim line of polished iron and steel. Each legionary carries his kit, the iconic rectangular shield, the scutum, the short, brutally effective stabbing sword, the gladius, and 2 heavy throwing spears, the pila. They stand in silence, waiting. Across the plain, the British army is the opposite, a vast, chaotic, noisy sea of people. They are confident, they have known nothing but victory. They believe the Romans are broken, terrified. They are so sure of another easy win that they have brought their families to watch the slaughter. They draw up their supply wagons in a great crescent shape at the rear of the plain, a grandstand for their wives and children. It will prove to be their single greatest mistake. Before the battle, the leaders speak. Boudica drives among her warriors in a chariot, her 2 daughters with her. She is not a queen appealing to subjects, but a woman wronged, speaking to avengers. She tells them this is not about lost wealth, it is about lost freedom, about her flogged body and her daughter's stolen honor. It is a battle for survival, win or be enslaved forever. Her speech whips the warriors into a frenzy. They roar their approval, a sound like thunder rolling across the plain. Suetonius addresses his men as well. His speech is short, professional, and brutal. He tells them to ignore the noise and the numbers. "Oh, there are more women than warriors in that crowd," he says. He tells them to hold their ground, throw their javelins, and then advance, to kill everyone. He reminds them of the ultimate prize for a Roman soldier, the glory of victory and the spoils of war, plunder. His men respond not with a wild roar, but with a low, grim cheer. They are ready. The Britons surge forward, a huge, screaming wave of humanity charging across the open plain. They run with their long hair streaming, shields held high, brandishing long swords and spears. The noise is deafening. Chariots race ahead, their riders hurling javelins before wheeling away. It is a terrifying sight, designed to break an enemy's nerve before the lines ever meet. But the men they are charging are the 14th Legion. Their nerve is forged in iron. The Roman officers walk the line. Hold, they command, hold. The Britons get closer, 100 yards, 75, 50. The Romans stand like statues. Then the command rings out, "Pila!" In perfect unison, the front ranks of the legions hurl their first javelin. Thousands of heavy, iron-tipped spears arc through the air. Each pilum is engineered for a single purpose. Its long, soft iron shank is designed to bend on impact. When it hits a wooden shield, it punches through. The weight of the spear shaft pulls the shield down, making it impossible to hold. Even if it doesn't wound the man behind it, it has disarmed him, stripping him of his primary defense. A moment later, the second rank throws their pila. Another volley of thousands of spears rains down on the charging Britons. The effect is devastating. The front ranks of the British charge are shredded. Men fall, screaming. Shields are rendered useless. The momentum of the great charge falters. The screaming horde becomes a confused, stumbling mob, tangled in their own useless shields and fallen comrades. Before they can recover, Suetonius gives his next command, "Advance." The Roman line moves forward, not at a run, but at a steady, relentless walk. They don't advance in a flat line. They form themselves into a series of wedges, a formation called the cuneus. Each wedge is a spear point of steel and wood, designed to punch through the enemy mass. They hit the disordered British line. What happens next is not a duel of heroes. It is industrial-scale slaughter. The Roman legionary is a master of close quarters fighting. He keeps his huge scutum locked with his neighbors, creating a solid wall of shields. He does not swing his sword wildly. He uses his short, sharp gladius to make quick, economical thrusts from under the protection of his shield, a jab to the gut, a stab to the throat. He is trained to kill the man in front of him and take one step forward. Again, and again, and again. The Britons are brave. They are fierce warriors, but they are outmatched. Their long swords are useless in the crush of bodies. They need room to swing, and there is no room. Their small shields offer little protection from the stabbing Roman swords. The Roman wedge pushes deeper and deeper into the British horde. It is a meat grinder. The men at the front are killed. The men behind them push forward, only to be killed themselves. The sheer discipline of the Romans is terrifying. They do not break formation. They do not chase individual enemies. They move as one single killing machine, a wall of steel systematically chewing its way through the British army. The auxiliaries on the flanks push forward too, protecting the legions from being swamped. Then, the Roman cavalry, which had been waiting patiently, charges from the wings. They smash into the British flanks, turning the pressure into a full-blown collapse. Panic erupts in the British ranks. The warriors at the front are dying, and the ones at the back realize the battle is lost. They break. They turn to run, but they have nowhere to go. Their escape route is blocked by their own fatal arrogance, blocked by the crescent of supply wagons they had arranged behind them, blocked by their own families. The trap is sprung. The fleeing British warriors slam into the barricade of their own carts, creating a massive bottleneck of panicked humanity. It is into this helpless, trapped crowd that the Roman legions now advance. The battle is over. The massacre begins. The Roman soldiers, cold with battle rage, show no mercy. They kill the warriors, they kill the women, they kill the children. Tacitus writes that they even slaughtered the baggage animals. The narrow plain becomes a field of gore, piled high with bodies and the wreckage of carts. The Romans move through the chaos, methodically killing everything that moves. The numbers reported by Tacitus are almost unbelievable. 80,000 Britons died that day. In exchange, only 400 Romans were killed, with a similar number wounded. An entire generation of British warriors was wiped from the earth in a single afternoon. Boudica, watching the destruction of her people, escapes the battlefield. She does not allow herself to be captured. She dies shortly after, either from taking poison or from illness. Her great rebellion is over. Paulinus Posthumus, the commander of the 2nd Legion, who had ignored Suetonius' call for aid and missed the battle, hears of the 14th's glorious victory. Overcome with shame for denying his men their share of the glory, he falls on his own sword. In the aftermath, Suetonius unleashes hell upon the remaining hostile tribes. He marches his army across their lands, burning villages and destroying crops. He is intent on crushing any last ember of resistance. His methods are so brutal that they alarm Rome itself. The new procurator, Julius Classicianus, warns the Emperor Nero that Suetonius' harshness will only lead to more rebellion. Rome, having nearly lost the province, decides on a new strategy. Suetonius is recalled. A more lenient governor is put in his place. The pacification of Britain would continue. But the policy shifted from pure brute force to a slower process of Romanization. The island would not see another revolt on this scale for the rest of the Roman occupation. The memory of Watling Street was burned into the collective consciousness of Britain. For centuries, The story of Boudica was just that, a story told by Roman historians. But in the modern age, archaeology provided the grim proof. In London, in Colchester, in St. Albans, excavators digging down through the layers of history found it. A thick, distinct stratum of burned red and black material, filled with shattered pottery and scorched debris. It's known today as the Boudican destruction layer. It's the physical scar of her rebellion, the ash and ruin of 3 cities, preserved in the earth. And yet, the greatest prize remains hidden. Despite centuries of searching, no one has ever definitively found the battlefield. We know the type of ground Suetonius chose, but its precise location is one of Britain's greatest archaeological mysteries. A field somewhere in the Midlands holds the ghosts of 80,000 dead. The land keeps it secret, but the numbers tell the story. 10,000 men held a line, 80,000 charged, 400 Romans fell. The rest is the cold, brutal arithmetic of empire.